Hello and welcome back to Dance Tutorials TV. My name is Chenelle Monique. I'm a professional dancer and choreographer, and I am so excited to share this conversation with you today. I think it's so important, such good information that most of us don't learn along the way except through learning the hard way, which is what I had to do. So I am just really excited to dive in and give you a little deeper understanding and a little more information so that you can be more prepared for your auditions or for your jobs and whatever might come up in your dance career. Today we're talking all about Heels 101. I always tell my students that heels is a technique, it's not a style, and what I mean by that is that every choreographer has their own unique style and expectations when it comes to dancers in heels, and you just need to be able to adjust and understand and know what you're getting yourself into so that you can be the most prepared and the most confident for whatever's coming your way. So let's just dive right into it. We're gonna start right here with the boot heel. So important that as a professional dancer especially that you have a pair of boot heels really comfortable covering the ankle in your repertoire. But to also know when it's appropriate to wear these. If you were to wear this to a Yanis Marshall class, wouldn't work out so well for you, but for any stage type of job that you do, many times for award shows or industrials or something where you're traveling a lot farther space, you're covering way more ground and you need to be in your heel a little longer, it's really important that you have something that's sturdy and stable and strong and a little safer to execute in and to really travel. So really make sure you have a pair like this. These are the Timberland heels. I absolutely love these. I love that they have a little more grip on the bottom, so you're not gonna be sliding all over the place, which you can sometimes encounter in maybe a cheaper pair of boot heels that's really slick on the bottom. So making sure you find a pair that feels really strong and stable and comfortable for your feet. And just knowing that if you're going to an audition where maybe the style is more stage, something that's really gonna be on a big stage, this would be a great option to have in your bag just in case you need this for the choreography so that you can feel strong and stable. Going right on top of that, I'm gonna show you another option that I see oftentimes in class or at auditions. Similar idea with the boot heel, but this is not a great option to wear because we don't have the ankle support that you need. So you really wanna try and stay away from things that are staying low on the foot so that when you're rotating or turning or doing quick footwork or floor work that you have the ankle stability that you need to feel safe and confident. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend those. Before we get into the next ones, a pair that I don't have with me today, but that I do want to talk about, and they do come in handy, especially if you're in LA and you're dancing here, is a thigh-high boot. So a stiletto, something like this that comes up over the thigh. That oftentimes comes in handy if you're in a class where you're doing a lot of floor work and maybe you don't have a knee pad or you don't necessarily feel like you need knee pads. I would find a really comfortable option that's going to come up over the knee, especially if you're wearing shorts, but similar to this style of heels. So we'll just jump into the next. These are the Burju heels. These are everywhere all the time. You can see, whoa, they have excellent ankle support and you can also tighten them, which is awesome. So when you're dancing, you can feel really strong and secure, but then you also have this really sleek design, sleek stiletto right here, and the accent of just the cute peep toe, which just feels a little sexier to dance in. These are the perfect pair of heels to bring to any heels audition. You never know if someone doesn't specify, I would say these are a great go-to just to have and to really make sure as you're training and taking class, you're taking class in something like this that's gonna help you feel really prepared and confident and strong in a higher 3.5, 4-inch heel because anything else down from there feels easy. This, I would say, is my #1 recommendation of heels that you absolutely must have in your heels bag and should be your go-to for training any style of heels. Same thing right here. This is actually my personal favorite pair to train in. It's like a nylon sock here that goes up over the ankle and still has support, but you can still see it has that really sleek stiletto heel right here, 3.5, 4 inches. It has the peep toe. It's really easy to transition through technical skills and floor work. I feel really strong and stable in my hips and when I'm standing, and I can really press into my feet strong and confidently. So yeah, I would say these two for sure, go-tos. Yeah, and this is pretty much right, I would say, for all styles of, like, if you're gonna take a heels class or more commercial choreography, especially to learn in something like this. So necessary. Piggybacking onto that, this is where I kind of started with heels before I invested in a better pair. which I love these, and it's the same concept, coming up over the ankle. It has the zipper. You can see I've literally worn them out. The thing I wouldn't recommend about these shoes is the fabric. Having this patent leather style of shoe, it stretches really, really easily, and over time, you're not gonna have the ankle support that you need. So try and find something a little tighter, a little more fitted to the foot. These are made especially for dancers, and these just are a really great option that's sleek and comfortable and just always, always works. Moving on to the next pair. This is kind of our no section right here. So this is a great pair. As you can see, they still have the sleek stiletto and a really sexy look and sexy vibe. So you think they would be great to wear, but the thing is here, they have absolutely no ankle support. You're going to be in class feeling really flimsy, really, really unstable, and I do see these all the time in class, people wearing shoes like this that look really good, which is fun for a club setting or a night out with your girls and dancing when you're just out and about, but in a classroom setting where you need to be able to execute a pirouette or execute a quick transition to the floor, it's really not safe and not practical for dancing professionally in a heel. Moving on to the next, this is another kind of deceiving style that you think would work really, really well. We have that sleek stiletto again. This one, you'll notice here, I bought these thinking they were gonna be great. First class, I knew exactly what was wrong and they would not work, but this heel is way too tall to be practical for what I do and for the way that I am training to dance in a heel. So if this is a preference, I would say this might work for something like go-go or voguing or being in more of a nightclub setting. They could probably work, but when you need to execute choreography really clean and feel really strong and stable and confident in your transitions, this is just not a practical shoe at all. You can see here they cut off right at the ankle, so you're still not getting that extra 2-3 inch support that you really need to feel strong and stable and ready to execute whatever movement is going to be thrown your way. So I would stay away from something like this. So now we're gonna get into more of our technical shoes. This is where there is a really big difference for what style of job you might be doing in a shoe like this and what style of job you might be doing in a shoe like this. So this is where it's really, really important to know your choreographer, to know what the job is, to know what you're training for. And if you know you're training for something like Rockettes or a Broadway show or a musical theater show or a character piece or really any jazz that might be in a national ad or on film or any ballroom Latin styles, more important that you really feel strong and confident in a shoe like this. And it is a little bit of an adjustment from something like this. This is going to be more hip hop, street jazz, jazz funk, more commercial styles happening down here. So as we transition over into our character shoes, these are a Laduca shoe. It's a T-strap, so making sure you know if you're expected to be on a job or in a rehearsal with a T-strap character shoe, that you have a pair that look just like this, so that you are prepared. This is an excellent pair of character heels to invest in. There are all sorts of styles you would do in something like this. Anything from Broadway styles, musical theater, pretty much any style of jazz would happen in something like this. So really making sure you're strong and confident in a little shorter heel. This is about a 2.5, maybe a 3 inch heel, which is a little bit of a line adjustment from something like this that's a little taller. So really important that you're practicing in all styles. Same thing even here, that's gonna be a different line than something you would have in this boot that's a little more grounded, a little more earthy, a little more using your plie and in the ground, where these are gonna be a lot more lifted and technical. So really understanding that you have to be confident with the technique and the movement and the structure of how you move in a heel, and making sure you set yourself up for success with the right shoe to accommodate that style. Same thing here, we're just gonna move down to another character type of shoe. This is another character heel, a lot shorter. You can see that's a 1, maybe 1.5 inch heel, which again moves differently than a 2.5 inch heel. So knowing the difference here, where I could use this to do way more technical jazz, there's really nothing that I couldn't execute technically in this style of shoe. So if you know you are going to be working with a choreographer who's very on the technical side of jazz and less on the musical theater, ballroom side of jazz, I would say recommend something like this so that you don't feel limited to leap and jump and turn and execute. because your heels are making you feel unsafe. So this is a really excellent option for technicians. Also, so many things you could do here in a Lindy Hop or any ballroom style or any musical theater Broadway style of jazz too. So a really versatile shoe right here with a small minimal heel. Another side note, this is just personal experience. Knowing that you might need, you can see these are the exact same pair of shoes in essence. I have a black pair as well. And knowing that you might go to an audition and know that it's going to be a character piece, but bring all 3 pairs, because there have been auditions where right as we've walked in, I only had my short pair of shoes and they're measuring heights and heels, and you get cut before you ever even get an opportunity to dance just because you had not the right height of heel. So always make sure you have an option, because you just never know what you're gonna get tossed into when you're walking through that door, and they don't have time to hear the excuse or the reason, or I have it in my bag or I have it somewhere else. So just be prepared with whatever you might need. Moving down just a little bit, we're gonna get into our ballroom heels. These are all pretty much the same, just this is different colors, so making sure that you know which color you might need for a job. Oftentimes the job is going to provide a specific shoe for you if you need it, but there are many times that a production company might supply every single thing except for the shoes, and that is something that the dancer is expected to have. And also knowing that you might want to practice and rehearse in the same type of shoe you'll be dancing in. So oftentimes I have a pair for rehearsal and a pair to dance in. These are more often than not my rehearsal shoes, and as you can see, the structure has completely broken, so they're definitely not safe to be performing in, and I have done many leap and batma and crazy batucada in this shoe, and now it is completely dead. So to know too that they're not gonna last forever, and if you're hard on your shoes, they are an investment, and I am hard on my shoes. So really knowing and understanding that you are gonna have to continue to invest in your craft and in high quality shoes to set you up for success. And again, you can see here that they are strappy and thin, but this strap right here is still gonna give you really strong support around the ankle as you wrap it around the ankle and then clip it back in, which is different from this, which is made for a nightclub or a sexy outfit or whatever. It's more about the aesthetic. This one still, even though the straps are thin, is really functional and really sleek and really supportive. So if you prefer this look or this style of shoe, make sure you can find something that wraps around the ankle and is still really secure. Again, these are ballroom heels, so they are intended for dancing and to be beat up. So I would say totally recommend something like this over just going to the mall and finding a strappy pair of heels that look good to you. If you're trying to dance professionally and need them to really support your body and prevent you from getting injured in whatever style you're expected to execute. So that about covers, I think, our range of heels. As you can see, it's a lot, and you don't have to buy all of these things at the same time. For me, these have each come one at a time, job to job, knowing what I need. So it is an investment over time, but if you take your craft seriously and you do want to dance in heels, or you know that your style and your expertise requires that you are able to dance in heels, that you understand the commitment and the investment and the diversity what that actually means. It's not one style of shoe. It's not one particular class that's going to book you all the things that you want. To make sure that you are taking from people like Marguerite and from Bryn Nicole and from Jersey and from Yanis and from me if you get a chance, and really understanding that, learning everybody's range of styles, but knowing your body and how to execute your technique no matter what shoe you're wearing. That's what's gonna set you up for success and help you feeling confident on any stage, on any set, in any classroom. The final thing that I just wanna offer to you right here is just a little bit of extra preparation. This is a TheraBand right here. So this is gonna be for strengthening the feet and the ankles, which I think is often overlooked in heels class. And if you want longevity, it's so important that you're taking the time before class or after class, in between classes, just as you would in ballet or if you're preparing for pointe, to strengthen the arch, to strengthen your ankles, to strengthen your feet, and really put the time in so that you're not worried about injury or cramping or all of those things that can happen if you're not really prepared to be dancing in a heel as intensely as we often do. And the final thing here that I would definitely recommend you always have in your heels bag or in your dance bag are knee pads, just because you never know if you're going to an audition choreographed by Amy Allen or Jersey, you're gonna get really athletic movement and a lot of floor work. And if you wanna dance for a long time and you're planning to make this your career, even if it doesn't hurt in that moment, it's so important to protect your body and have knee pads on so that you can execute movement over and over and over again in rehearsals and be able to save your knees so that you can dance well into your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, if that's what your path asks for. So just set yourself up for success, prepare yourself as much as you can, and don't get pigeonholed into one style, into one class, into one choreographer's type of movement, because what you might be training in might not always be what's working. So make sure you really diversify yourself. And I hope that this is going to help a little bit to at least know what is ahead of you and how you can prepare yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's an honor to be able to share my experience with you. As always, thank you for joining us at Dance Tutorials TV, and happy dancing.